Alright, so it's a beautiful day here in Karama, Darwin. Beautiful clear sky, beautiful temperatures. I've got a Monday off, which is glorious. This is my 1978 Kingswood one-tonner. Bit of a family heirloom. And today I'm going to try and change the diff center in it. It's got a Ford 9-inch that I found in a wreck 20 odd years ago now. And it's a disc braked LSD factory Ford 9-inch out of an XA or XB XC Falcon. I'm not sure, there wasn't enough of it left to tell. And I pulled it out when I was working driving towing trucks. And somebody very graciously gave me this LSD Ford 9-inch here with 3.5 gears. The one in the centre is a factory 3.0 gear, so this will be a bit more suitable now. It's by no means perfect, but I'm not about to look a gift horse and $1,000 worth of diff center in the mouth for nothing. Yeah, so I've got the car jacked up, got it on some jack stands, and we'll start. I've got to pull the tail shaft and the wheels off and the axles out, and I'll come back and show you what I'm up to. Right, so this is where we're at right now. I've got the wheels off, took the caliper off. This is the bracket for the caliper here. The dust shield is bolted to the brake line, so it's sandwiched in between those things, so you got to take that off to get it off. It's just some 3 7/16 bolts, and I think they're half of 9-inch/16 bolts there that go into the axle retaining nuts, and yeah, we'll have to give it all a good clean because it's gotten fucking dirty. A little bit annoying. But anyway, so that's the axle out. I'll just one. Okay, in a side note, my brushless Makita impact driver definitely goes a lot harder than I thought it did. Well, this job just got a little bit harder. You can hear that wheel bearing. Lovely. This wheel bearing. Fucked. Better change that too while we're here. Okay, so it's the next day now. We're at this stage here. This is my old 3.0 diff center. 3.0 ratio. It's in really good shape. I think I might try and sell that, get a little bit of coin return for this job. But what was I saying? So I've had to swap the yoke because this is the yoke that I'm using, and it's the very long one, and that one I think it's 3-inch, and this one is 5-inch. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. And I had to swap over this housing, this bracket here, because this is the factory Ford. There's like a bump stop that goes up here in the body, and this stops with the diff nosing up into the floor. And although this doesn't do anything, the factory Holden one hits about here, that's mounted in the chassis. So I like that idea to stop it axle tramping, and it does seem to work because this car doesn't axle tramp, but then however violent the launches are. So we'll swap that over. It's just 3 bolts and swap them over, and get the rattle gun onto this nut here and swap that over. And I gave it about 10 ugga-duggers. Diffed out. Still spins nice. It's exactly as it was before, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, one thing that I am going to do is something that Ford did in their infinite wisdom, is the diff housing has no drain. So the oil that came out of that was very likely the oil that went into it in the factory, because I never changed it when I installed it. So that'd probably put it at something like 50 to 55 years old. So I'm off to a hydraulics joint today to see if I can find a weld-in drain plug. So there's that. And I've ordered the new wheel bearings, and they'll be here Thursday because it's Tuesday today. And so the job's on a bit of a pause at the moment. Okay, so it's a couple of days later. New wheel bearings have arrived. I had to take them to my mate's workshop to press them on. Now I've done them in the bush with a hammer and chisel and punches, and if you've got the opportunity to use a press, use a bloody press. It was so fucking easy. That's the other one over there, ready to go. Make sure, I had to take the studs out and do all that to get the disc off, because it's a weird setup where the disc is behind the axle face, whereas nearly every other car I've ever worked on is the other way around. That was a bit of a head fuck, but I got around it eventually. Yeah, it's just another example of Ford doing Ford things, I suppose. So now I've got this here. It's a blanking plug into a JIC adapter, and I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom of my diff housing so I can actually drain the oil instead of having to take the diff center out to do it. And yeah, that's what we'll do now. Let's get drilling. So this is what we've done. I've drilled a hole out, got that sitting in there, cleaned the surrounding material up to weld it. Got the trusty MIG over there on the trolley, and we'll weld that up, and hopefully it doesn't leak too much. Yeah, so that's the finished product. It right with my finger, oh there, focus, beautiful. I checked it twice and there was a leak here, so I had to add a bit of extra weld. It's not going to win any most beautiful weld prizes, but it doesn't leak, and job done. Now we can start putting the fucking thing back together. Okay, now we're at the fun bit to do, lying on your back under a car that's not quite high enough because you've got a miserable jack. Now it's time to get that into there and not fuck up the gasket. So I'll need both hands, so I'll see you when I got it in. I'm not having a very good day. That's about beer number 4, and I've been at this all day, and I'm down to the last axle and brake assembly. Yeah. All done now, back on the ground. Just got back from a successful test drive. It's not leaking, it's nice and quiet. The LSD function doesn't work really well, but you know what? Free diff center, don't care. So installed new wheel bearings, a drain in the diff housing to drain the oil so that it can actually be changed instead of running it forever. And yeah, job done. I need to get a bloody workshop and a hoist so I can stop doing this bullshit on the ground.